Hello? I bet you, does that work? I hope that works now. So it is so good to see you, Sonia. Hi, is there sound now, everybody? I had tried turning it on, but evidently it didn't cut on. Oh, that's great. Sorry I forgot to put up I don't know what you want to call it, a placeholder, but I totally forgot to do that last week. So when I got ready at the last minute to sign up, was like, uh-oh, we don't have anything. So I had to quickly write out. Let me tilt this down just a touch. I told myself after watching one of my shows to stop playing with the camera so much. So in this brand new year, I already breaking my new resolution. So hello, Polly. Hello, Alberta and Sonia. So yesterday we had some wind. It picked up to gust 35, maybe a little bit higher. And so my power blipped out, and we noticed that the internet stayed off longer. Well, then the power, everything seemed to do better, and then bloop, the internet went out again. So poor Sonia probably came back and nobody was there, and I feel terrible leaving her like that. But I said, you know what? I put on an audiobook and kept sewing. So we're giving a chance for everybody to get in. But as you see, there's a new quilt behind me. And that's from yesterday's Merry Mayhem Mystery. And I don't know if the clues are still up, but if you're interested in making this, then I would rush to her, marymayhem.com. And Mary is Merry. And there's your... Oh, I hadn't checked the forecast. I did know that today is supposed to be in the upper 60s, but that a front's moving through, and it's going to be a lot colder tomorrow. But snow, that might be fun. I'm game. So now that Mark works from home, it's pretty easy. You know, it's like, whatever, we'll do it. So I wanted to show you Merry Mayhem. Put out clues. This is her mystery number 146. She's a very prolific quilt designer. And I told you, I'm never disappointed with the quilts that we make as a mystery. And just to give you a little bit of a heads up, Alberta, it's so good to see you. To give you a little bit of heads up with her mysteries, what a mystery is. All of a sudden, I was sitting here going, wait a minute, something doesn't sound right. And I was over talking my brain. That's easy to do for me. But a mystery quilt is where you are given information on how much fabric you need and how to cut the fabric up. And then the actual day or whenever, weekly, whatever speed they put out the clues, you have no idea how it's going to turn out. And if you have a really good mystery quilt writer, Billy Lauder used to do them. There were a good number of people who used to do them. And if they write it well, they will guide you with your fabric choices so that you will be happy with the results. And Merry Mayhem is a person, I've done her mystery quilts since the early 2000s, and I've never been disappointed with one yet. So here is Merry Mayhem, and her website is marymayhem.com. This one is called Ups and Downs, and she gives you pretty thorough information on how to choose your fabrics and then how to start cutting it. And She even, look how many different sizes she gives you to make the quilt. From a wall hanging or crib quilt all the way up to king size, even a quilt of valor size. So she's really good. And then there are the cutting instructions. This one was very, very easy. Now, I say it was very easy, except I'm not good, and Sonia will tell you, I'm not good at doing scrappy. It's too scary for me. And so here was the first thing that we had to do, which was to make a whole bunch of half square triangles. That's pretty easy. And just to let you know, I made 36 blocks. The king size took 238. So that's why I don't do king size quilts. So, but it was very good instructions. And then she put out a clue for Christmas Day, and that was this one right here. Then the actual Mr. Day was yesterday, New Year's Day. And it was great. I was able we don't do anything for New Year's Day, and I was able to come down and have the whole day to myself. And I think I stayed down here till 6:30. That's a long day for me. And so here's the first clue that came out that morning. Then another clue. So like every hour, they were coming fast and furious. And I was determined. Here's another clue. I was determined to get this quilt done. And so then next to the last clue of the day is, oh, here are the quilt designs you can choose from. Oh my, these are king size. So as you see, when I chose the design I was going to use, you can see my piddly little 36 blocks compared to 238. But that's fine. I didn't want any more than that. And, quilts are expensive to make. And unless you have a specific person in mind, sometimes it's better for me just to make wall hangings or throw size quilts, and I can use them to decorate or give as gifts. The other quilt design that I really liked was this one. But the problem is, by the time you add up the 36 blocks I had, now that is 5 times 4. That's only 20, and so I would have, a little bit bigger. But you see, the problem is you'd only have one design. This was my favorite design, but this design is better if you make a larger quilt. So then there was this one, and that's a cute one. This one made me nauseous. I mean, some people like it. For me, it's a little too visually busy, and I truly would get nauseous. I'd have to hang it on a wall I don't look at often. But, I love that she gave you so many of these ideas. So now I want to show you something, because one of this design right here can be very dynamic. And I'm going to show you the last clue of the day. And if you want these clues, don't come to me for them. Go to marymayhem.com, sign up for her free newsletter. And if you can, give a little tip to her tip jar, because, it cost her money to do all of this. And that's her job. And I made a tip to her because I appreciate what she does. She takes time to design these, and it gives us a lot of joy. But if you don't download the clues extremely quickly, then they'll go into a pattern that you have to purchase. So I wanted to show you that design I just got through showing you. It makes a great quilt. But one of the reasons I didn't do that design is because isn't that a wonderful quilt? Now that would take more blocks because they use the blocks as the border. But the thing I like about that makes this quilt so striking is the top row, the ones pointing up, are very intense. The ones pointing down are faded versions. So it kind of makes a reflection in the water feeling. But I thought that is a very, very striking quilt. And one day, who knows, maybe I will do one like it. All right. And you have to choose a lot of contrast. If you don't choose a lot of contrast, that's what it comes out as. And that's a little busy. So high contrast, she stressed that. I listened to her. I chose a lot of contrast. Now, on that, I don't know if you can see hanging up there, I took one of the darker fabrics in the quilt, and I'm going to do a second. Hi, Cheryl. Oh, Kim Hicks is here. Hi, hon. So I'm going to do a second accent border. Now, she already had us cut out the border. It's 8.5 inches wide. I'm not comfortable with this big of a border, just the background fabric. And I thought, well, it gives you a great place to do some really nice quilting. That is true. But I thought, that is a big border. Oh my gosh, Jamie's Crafty World. Hi, darling. Happy New Year. Oh, how good to see you. I feel terrible now. I was going through our group's IO just last night, and I started deleting old photo albums of people I hadn't seen in a while, and Jamie's was one. Because Jamie, the last I heard about Miss Jamie, she was doing really good with an online craft site. She was a busy girl. And how is our Crystal? Please tell Crystal hello. What a sweetie. So it is so good. So anybody, if you come back to our group's IO and you don't see your photo album, start another one because we love having you. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't overload our site because some of the photo albums were quite large. But that is so good to see you. So this is a lot of border. So I'm going to have the dark green, and you already see the yellow border I put on. So then that next dark green border is 3 inches to go around. Then it was going to be this great big border. She's waving at the screen. Hello, Crystal. We would love to see a picture of Crystal sometime when you have a chance, because I bet you she's growing up so fast. Christine O'Brien is back. Hi, hon. This is the mystery quilt that I did yesterday. So, you're such a busy lady anyway, with your gardens that you and your husband do, and having a young lady. She's probably 7 now. So, you wait till you see my little trees. I've got so much to show you. But I may be cutting down this border. It's just a lot of border. And if it were a prettier color, but this is just a creamy beige. So we'll see. But one thing I thought about, I looked at all of those points on this block, and I thought, I'm going to make prairie points and put where the quilt meets the border. So they're going to be laying on the border. And that's what I'm going to do. She made her first quilt. Oh, please post us a photo. Yay, Crystal. Yay. So anyway, but I'm going to make large prairie points to lay on this. And I'm worried a little bit that if you put them on the border, and turn the border out, that's a thick amount of fabric. So one thing, thank you, Cheryl. So I'm kind of toying with different ways to make the prairie points, but I thought it would echo the points in the quilt, and I'm going to use all the colors that I used on the quilt to do a prairie point border on this. And then if it makes this look better, then I'll just do some really nice quilting in that. And I'll use one of the darker colors for the binding. So anyway, but I did it. I proved it can be done. And I started running a little behind when I was on time, right on time, until I had to start putting the colors together, deciding where the scrappy colors were going to go. And Sonia and Miss Jody were saying, just choose them randomly. Just choose them randomly. That's hard for me to do. I almost had a panic attack. And last night when I was trying to put the last row together, I had to take a couple of the pieces. And because what she did is she had us make a big 8.5-inch square or 8-inch square half square triangle. I guess it finished to 7.5, and then take and make slices out of that half square triangle. So let me show you this, because I've never done this. And that's another reason I like it, because we had these great big half square triangles. Okay, so then the very first clue she had yesterday was take your half square triangles and slice them into thirds, 3 equal columns. And then she had us, her instructions are so good. I didn't have a single worry. Then she had us decide how to do it scrappy, do same color family, or do monochromatic. Pick all of the reds or all of the blues. And so Miss Sonia's out there going, Scrappy, you can do it. And so anyway, but that's when I slowed down. And so I took 22 minutes longer on one. Then the next one, I tried to get faster, and I did it. I was only 10 minutes late on the next one. But then after I lost internet, because we were doing a Jitsi, so I was here about 10 minutes to 10 in the morning, and we had fun doing a Jitsi, which is kind of like a Zoom. We were all chatting. I ended up spending hours trying to put the rows together, because it really bothers me. I wanted to have the yellow bounce. I wanted to have the red bounce. I didn't want colors lining up. That's stressful. Scrappy is not my thing. I have to be honest. I love Bonnie Hunter, but Scrappy is just it's too emotional for me. To me, I have to make choices, and that's hard. So, and Cheryl Hogan is here. It is so good to see you. So that is my Merry Mayhem mystery quilt. I did it all yesterday except for just making the half square triangles ahead of time. And I was really pleased. So it's the first time I've gotten this far on a mystery, a one-day mystery. So I will continue by adding the second accent border and then the prairie points. But I thought the prairie points will be nice. Now, how do you quilt a very graphic quilt like this? Well, I believe you don't like to make choices. And I believe that if you have a quilt that's very geometric, very graphic, then I usually quilt it going soft. And I find that tends to, now I've seen some graphic quilts where they do more graphic, whether it's straight lines, whether it's sharp corners, whatever. But I will probably do feathers or flowers or just anything round and soft. And having the bigger border, if I keep it that big, I could really do a distinctive pattern in the border. Because anytime you have big expanses of background fabric, it is begging you to do some wonderful quilting. So now, whether it'll be wonderful or not, but it'll be quilted. So I will be doing that at some point. Okay, well, I had Cheryl mention the little trees I made. So let me bring this up. I made 12 of these guys the other day. And I'm so excited because this year I got everything done that I hoped and put on a list to get done. Now, I didn't have the family get together for Christmas, and it took me an extra week. But it's still good because I got them done. So I'm going to be giving these to my kids when I see 2 of them at the end of this week. So, and the other I'll have to mail them to. And I took and cut out the shapes out of just cheap felt from the craft store. And then I stitched them by hand because I wanted a nice big stitch. I tried doing a blanket stitch, but unless I used like a very dark thread, they weren't going to show. And I kind of like the puckered look I got from big hand stitching. I got them all stitched in one evening watching television. Then I used if I made a green felt tree, I used the tan felt for the decoration. And then a cute button and a piece of the Jitsi is just like a Zoom. And we're going to try, in fact, I wanted to talk to y'all. We're probably going to try to start doing regular Jitsis until Miss Bonnie feels better. Be thinking about her she's having real problems with one of her eyes. And Miss Susan, they've had health issues and just exhaustion. And they're supposed to be building a house. And I mean, they've got so much on their plate. But, so we're thinking of doing, twice a month, and we'll figure out which of those weeks. But anyway, so I noticed I've got little glue blobs that really they're showing up on the camera. So, but anyway, so I just did the hand stitching. Then I stuffed them. Since I do long arm quilting, I save all my scraps, and that's what I used in here. And then I hot glued the bottom. Then I cut some dowel rods in half for me. These are the paulownia limbs that we trim down every year, so our paulownia tree will grow back with huge big leaves. And I just filled the hole with hot glue. Reminder, put more glue sticks on the list, but I filled the hole with hot glue. Then hot glued these things and the buttons on. Easy peasy, and I think they're cute. So what my kids are going to get, and I even have a set for me, is they're going to get 3 trees, 2 greens and 1 tan. And I just thought the colors were cute, and they're just very, very simple. Very, very simple. So got all of those made. Yay! I still don't like the smell of paulownia, but anyway. All right, let me put those back and then show you something I'm still working on, but I really, really like. Oh, I just love these little rustic trees. They're just cute. And just very simple. The only thing this cost me was some glue sticks, 1 piece of craft paper that you can buy for people who do scrapbooking, that kind of paper, and I think 4 sheets of felt, the 9x12 or whatever felt. So very inexpensive. Oh, and the dowel rods, very cheap. So, I forgot what I was doing. Oh, and happy birthday to our Marcia. Marcia's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Miss Marcia. So I have been wanting one of these woolly Christmas trees for quite a while. I went looking for them to buy one, and I couldn't get it quite. I wanted 2 feet tall. Well, they're expensive. They're very expensive. I guess they're trendy. So then I thought, okay, let me look. I need the body. I need the tree branches. I can make the tree. I can do the woolly strips, but I needed the armature. Robin's here. This is great. So glad to see you. And don't forget, if you have a question for me, type it in all caps. It helps me to spot it so I can answer your question. So I needed the body of the tree. Well, I don't know if y'all remember when I was working on my candles that I decorated, that I bought 2 sprays that had little pine cones on them. And I took all the pine cones off and used the wire frames of these things, put them together, taped them with floral tape, added extra branches with this armature wire. If you use this kind of stuff, it's really soft and flexible. So double layer it to get it enough stiffness. But I had to add a lot of branches. And here is what I came up with. And you see here, because I wrapped everything, I wrapped with floral tape and got that put together. So I had to make sure I had enough branches to do this. Then I first tried taking just cheap felt, and it just didn't have the look I thought it might. I thought it would pass for the wool. Well, when I wasn't liking what I was seeing that much, I came down and pulled out some kits I had gotten at clearance that had wool in them. And I knew I just bought it for the wool because wool's expensive, you know? Okay, well, I shared the link for the quilt behind. Oh, yeah, absolutely I will. Let me type it in before I forget. You just go to marymayhem.com. And I would go today because at whatever point she takes off the clues, then you'd have to purchase them. And if you're able to give her a tip, to her tip jar, do that. She's a dear heart. But anyway, so here I have all the branches, and it's about the right height. I'm thinking of leaving it out all year. So I know Mark will go, why? Because I want to. I'll decorate it at Easter. I'll decorate it for the 4th of July, you know. Hi, Michelle Lang. Hi, Jody. So I started tying, and I had like 4 or 5 different colors. Well, I was sitting there looking at it this morning as it's coming together because it's not finished yet. And I was sitting there looking at it and thinking, having all those colors on it was not looking good. It made it look a little dead. So I pulled off a lot of the bright ones because I had some that are this bright and it just didn't make it look right. So I'm redoing it. So give me a little bit of time. But then I said, I went looking at other ones. What you do is you're just taking the armature and you're just a single knot, tying a strip of wool or flannel or felt on the tree. You know, flannel would work really good. So you're just tying a bunch of strips on there. So do you cover a chicken roaster? I took 2 like artificial sprays you can get, when you go to buy artificial greenery. I took 2 of those, taped them together and made them so they're taller, and then added my own extra wire branches everywhere I needed to. And let me tell you, when you use floral tape, keep it nice and tight. I've realized tape, this kind of tape mainly sticks to itself because it has a waxy coating. So I used a lot of the green and a lot of the black. Didn't use any of the white. But anyway, so I've got all the branches. Once I got the branches in place and floral taped really good, then I took my hot glue gun and hot glue the junction where everyone was. I can show you a little bit of that. See the hot glue drip down? But that's just to kind of keep these branches relatively in place. Now, one thing that I found, okay, so there is the wool, and it's kind of sticking out, looking kind of lumpy. Well, then look what I did this morning. I took each of those little ends, normally they're like this wide. I took them and cut them into thin little strips. And look at what that does. I did these 3 branches, and it really turns it from a ragged strip tree to something that's pretty darn authentic. And I like this. So by tying on the 1/2 inch, well, they're not even a 1/2 inch, maybe 1/3 of an inch wide. By tying that on, and making them thicker, I didn't have to do as many knots. And then I just take my little scissors and I just slice them lengthwise to give them a very, very frilly, more like what a cedar or a pine would look like. See that? And you can decide how long you want the little needles to hang. It's up to you. Let me show you really quickly. And I cut them all about, I would say, 4.5 inches to 5 inches. The best is probably 5 inches. 5-inch little strips. And to cut the strips, all I did was fold the wool like this, making sure it's very even at the top, and then I eyeball the right width, which is about 1/3 of an inch. I just eyeball it like that. And then, see, I took off this color. To me, that was too bright, and I thought it would make it special, but it made it look ill. And I don't want to make an ill tree. So then, now you have a long strip like this. Well, what I did then is just held the 2 ends together, and I went down, and it doesn't matter if you get a little elbow. You know, sometimes when you cut things and you're cutting them and it's folded multiple times, if it's too much of a ridge there, then just neaten it up. But you come down about 5 inches and make a cut. And then you come down here about 5 inches, make another cut, and then you have a small piece that you can use up near the top where you don't want them quite as long and full. But you make a bunch of these. And I found that the prettiest color was really this dark green black. And then come on. All right. So I have one of the little limbs right here. So I just make sure that the furry part, because some of this has a nubby and then some has a real soft. I'll put the soft edge facing out, then just make one little loop through like that, and then pull it tight. And be careful if you're using felt. Felt once is not woven, and it will break or pull apart easily. And you just simply tie. Now, sometimes it's easier if you go ahead and make the loop like this, slide it on the branch, and pull it nice and tight. Especially if you have wool, you can pull them nice and tight. And so then what I was showing you about doing, and you can't do this until after they're tied on because they'll rip apart once you do this. But you take some little very sharp scissors and you just cut these strips into tiny strings. And that gives it the realistic look of a cedar or a pine. And this I will just do sitting at my in front of the television at night. And let me make sure you can see that good. And just then cut them into the little wispies. That's the easiest thing that I'm thinking of. But this, I want this to be something very special. And I think once all of the branches look like this, look like these down here that have been trimmed, it's going to be pretty. And I will just be looking for little miniature ornaments for Easter, for Christmas, or whatever. And this will just be my little celebration tree. Now, what we did for the base, I floral taped those 2 wire spray carcasses together. Put a lot of floral tape. Then we got a long piece of Polonia that automatically had a hole drilled in the middle. I mean, the tree always has a hole in the middle. And so then I filled it with hot glue, stuck the armature down in it. Then Mark took a board and cut it, and we just lightly sanded it. And he put some liquid nails glue on the bottom of this stump, and then he drilled 2 nails to kind of go up in it once we had it glued. So it's just, this is how it's going to stay. I might tie a bow with some jute or twine because I want it to look very rustic. But this is something I've been working on that I'm having a lot of fun with. So, and I could buy one, but I've got to be honest. I love trying to take things I have around the house. And the only part I had to buy for this were these. And I had all of the wool here already. So, and we have a scrap of pieces of wood in the garage. I did have to, I didn't have to buy the Polonia. It's just he cut down out in the yard. So that was a lot of fun. And that's becoming my thing now, to repurpose and recycle. Oh, Jamie, that's so cute. Yeah, when we see stuff like that, we go, ooh. And so my daughter had one, and I had to actually touch it. I said, that is so cool. So she sent me a couple pictures of it, and then I went with what I had and what I could do, and that's fun. All right, so let me go. So I don't know if Marcia's made it here, but I want to make sure to keep saying happy birthday, Marcia. Then I showed you the woolly tree. I showed you the felt Christmas tree on the little dowel rods. I've talked to you about the Merry Mayhem Mystery. So much fun. And now we'll get ready to talk about the Art Quilt Thursdays are going to return this Thursday, January 6th. And so I've got to find the information to share with you because I went looking through all kinds of files because I knew what I wanted. I wanted a design that I could take, and first I'm going to take white fabric or black fabric. I might do both. And I'm going to wash it really, really well. any fabric you use for this, it's a painting technique. Any fabric that you use must be washed several times or just scrubbed really good, maybe with some blue, that Blue Dawn or something that's really good, to remove any kind of chemicals or sizing, because that will prevent, that's why you have to use prepared for dyeing fabric when you dye. It's just fabric that doesn't have all the chemicals and sizing on it. And they put sizing. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, Melissa Lamb is here. Yay. And so the reason, prepared for dyeing just means it doesn't have all that stuff on it. The reason they put the sizing on it is because it goes through the machinery better. It makes it look more substantial and fluffy and less, and, have a better hand, which is the feel of fabric. And it makes it more wrinkle proof while they're dealing with it, putting it on the bolt and getting into the store. I know, Debbie, I'm sorry, sweetie. I totally forgot to do a placeholder video. So when I came on here today, I'm like, oh no. And I thought, well, I could kind of take the day. Nope, I wanted to see you ladies. So I said, nope, I'm ready. We're going to go on. I'll just put a quick one up anyway. So I'm going through. I want to do something that we can paint. Miss Betty Middleton did a wonderful koi pond that she painted because at the time she couldn't sit at her sewing machine. And that stuck in my mind. Well, then Miss Lisa Capon of Lisa Capon Quilts, right here on YouTube, go check her out. She's been doing a paint project where she has taken squares about this big, and instead of putting different fabrics on, she has painted where you would use fabric. And watching her paint has gotten me really wanting to paint some fabric. This one I want to do a little different. And I think I did see on hers, I haven't watched it yet, but I saw where she did something very similar to what I want to do. And what I want to do is I wanted to find a design that would have lots of places to paint and could look exciting. And there's so many Zentangles and doodles and all that stuff out there. But there was one thing I kept noticing. I want to, at least for myself, and I'm hoping you will too, I want to take the fabric, have it washed really, really good, get out all the sizing, then dry it, then iron it. I started to say starch it, but I don't think you want to put anything in between the paint and the fabric. So just iron it really well. You can take and mist it with a little water because that always gives a really nice finish. And then what I want you to do is take the fabric and use a window or a light box, put your design behind it, lay the fabric on it, and then take an actual ink pen or fabric marker. Now, the problem with Sharpies, a lot of times they run. So I would say use a micron pen, use a normal Bic style ink pen, or use a type of black marker or blue or whatever, it doesn't matter what color, that won't run. And I want you to draw the design on really well. Then I want you to take and layer it with some batting and some backing. And it's probably better if you try to use a polyester or wool because you don't want the paints to go through and get on cotton. But if cotton's all you have, let's use cotton. And I want you to put that together as a sandwich and quilt the outlines and use a nice black thread and quilt the outlines. And the reason you quilt it first before you paint it is it'll give a puffiness to the designs where you want to paint. And you don't want to have to quilt through this paint. It can be done, but it's just a little harder. And then what you're going to you're going to quilt the outline. Then once you take that off, then we do the fun painting. Now, so when I'm looking up to trying to find what designs to paint, everything, especially the Zentangle things, are so busy, which is good on one hand, but you would have to quilt all those lines. Well, I'm sorry. I love to quilt, but I'm not going to quilt this super complex design. So I went searching the internet. You know how I do. And let me turn my camera and give you a couple of ideas of what I was thinking of. And I think you'll kind of get where I'm going with this. I think you will understand better what I'm concerned about. Okay? So let me go to my folder and bring up some ideas. Hold on. Okay, here we are. All right, so I'm going through looking for designs, and I see designs like this, and that's pretty good. I think you would enjoy doing that. And then I started looking up some Zentangle designs, and I'm like, oh, something like this or this. That's a lot of quilting. And this, oh my gosh, to quilt those little tiny things. And I really want it to be pre-quilted, because if it's pre-quilted, then it'll be nice and puffy. And when you paint it, it's going to show beautifully. Look at all of that. I mean, that's a lot to stitch. You would have to stitch every single line. So I soon got depressed. I thought, this is too much. I just want something that's going to be fun, like this one. Ah, that would be fun. And it's, yes, does it have lines to sew? Yes, but it's not so overwhelmingly busy like this. Oh my gosh, just to try to get all of this little cross-hatching done is a lot. And let me see if I can find, but I want you to have this look, the look of that nice puffiness, so you know right where to paint, you know? So that's what I was thinking. So then I kept searching, and I mean, I searched probably for 15 hours. And so I was looking for just anything I could think to be an inspiration. I saw stuff like this. And I thought, well, for the first one, I think I want some nice hard edges. As cool as that is, I want some very defined spaces. But boy, I found some cool stuff. And then this one, isn't that cool? But I said, oh boy, that's a whole nother level. So, and then I saw this one. And I said, look at all those lines that would have to be quilted. And I said, nah, that's not going to work. As pretty as that is, it's not going to work. So I found this, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's just a little too much. And what I'm finding is if it's too busy and too complex, I stop working on it. This is amazing, but look how much quilting you would have to do. Every little line, everything you would have to do. So let me show you what I found. I was trying to look for free patterns. Either I was going to make it myself or I was going to find it free, because, you know, we just got through Christmas. So guess who I found? I found the gentlemancrafter.com. The gentlemancrafter.com. His name is John, and he had, for a couple of years, I think, he had mandala. And a mandala is any design that's in a circle, and it comes originally from the circle of life. So it's a real neat concept. There's a mandala. I love this one's so happy with the tulips along the outside edges. But this gives you, now those circles, that's not easy to quilt, but I can give you hints on that. But he has all of these mandalas. So you can look at them and print them out, and you can experiment with making them whatever size you want. But he has tons of these that he gives for free. And he intended these to be coloring pages. Now those stars I would not do, because you would have to stitch around every star. No, thank you. I would not do it. But I love the rest of it. And he even has, look at these. Isn't that pretty? He's got love and hope, and I'm sure there are some more. But here's hope. I don't know if he has a charity, but aren't they pretty? Usually I see the word charity. When I see love, hope, I think of charity. But anyway, I wrote to him because I respect someone else's work. And even though he had these as free Mondays, I wanted his permission to use them with you. So I just heard back from him, and he writes, I'm in the wrong, got to pick the right inbox. Okay, so John wrote, that sounds like an amazing idea. Yes, that would be no problem at all, as long as they are not used in a commercial way. So you can use his designs, but do not sell them. They can be for your pleasure or as gifts, just don't sell them. And then he says, if you would link back to my blog or the page where you found the mandala, that would be very much appreciated. The full URL, and he gives me, and I will type it for you. Then he says, when you actually do one featuring his designs, let him know so he can see what we created. So if you work on this, I'll make sure to send him your photo too, so he can see. And then he wrote, all the best with your creative adventures. Best wishes, John. So what a nice gentleman. Now let me copy this hyperlink, and then I will post it. But that's the best case scenario. When someone is so easy to work with like that, that is a joy. So now come back to, where are we? Live streaming. Okay, Chloe. Sorry, Chloe Terry, but I think you are spam, so you are gone. I do not want people to come on here and promote a site that I have no idea what it is. So here we go. Here is John's website, and I do hope that you will visit it and pick out what design of his that you want to work on. Make sure, too, if you make something worthy of a show, even if it's just a show of your quilt guild, make sure to give him credit. Write it on the tag or the entry somewhere that design provided by and gentleman crafter John, okay? And there is his website, and he is lovely. He's in the UK. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Christine O'Brien. Thank you. And Christine, I hope you belong to our group. If not, we would love to have you belong to our group. Anyone, we do these Jitsies like a Zoom. We're going to start doing them 2 times a month. And if everybody wants to stick with the second and third Saturdays, let me know, give me your input and we'll do them. And even if I can't be there the whole time, I'm hoping that Jody or Sonia will just kind of make sure that, it's turn off the lights when you leave. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. So now anyone wanting to join our group, Our Time to Quilt, and the nicest thing, twc.com. Okay. So shoot me an email. I'll send you an invitation. And our group is Groups.io, kind of like the old Yahoo groups. And we post our photos of things we do or things we love, and we chat and ask questions. People give suggestions. You can make your own photo album of all your work so I can share it on Sundays. But I just thought I would show you some of Mr. John's mandalas that will be wonderful to do. And this one's a little bit light, but he has done the work and we can have fun. This one's a little bit intense with some of the lines, so it depends on, how much you are willing to do. Here again is the tulip one. But the nice thing, he says go to his site. You can look at them and pick them out yourself. Yeah, if you don't have access, then I will send you one of these by email. Look at that. That's like acanthus, Greek acanthus leaves. Beautiful. All right. Look at this. Anytime you have the round circles, they are so pretty when they're painted. And like I said, I'm going to do one on white and one on black because I think the black one, if done well, can be so striking. Now, you might have to do the quilting in white or gold, or I don't know. You could pick the color. But isn't that beautiful? So these are going to be our patterns. And I thank John again that I didn't have to sit down and try to draw him because he's talented that way. I'm not. But you can make this bigger. All you have to do is take a quarter of it or whatever and enlarge it. You could cut down 1/4 of this, put it on a piece of paper, enlarge it, then make 4 copies of the enlargement, tape them back together, and there you go. You've got your design. So whatever way you enlarge your design, do that. And I'm going to make sure that I've got a quilted piece of work Thursday to start, and I'll run you through all this again. And I asked Santa, who was very nice, and gave me what I wanted. And because I don't think I was good enough to just, get it any other way, but he was in a good mood. And but I got this set of metallic paints, and I'm going to paint mine with almost all metallics. Look at these yummy colors. So I got this off of Amazon, and I'm excited to use this. Then I also have some textile medium. Now, this is acrylic paint, but I'm not sure if this is made for fabrics. If it's made for fabrics, it already has textile medium in it. But I'm going to mix mine with about a 50-50 mix of paint and medium. The medium really helps it stick to your fabric, so that's important. And so you can get it in small little bottles from your local craft store. And I can't wait to use these metallic colors on my painting. So this is going to be for a lot of fun. And then here are some fabric markers. I don't know if this is the exact kind that Lisa uses, but the thing I like is it's a marker tip. They do not run, and you want that so that you can do your outlining. Also, and just pick whatever paintbrushes you want to work with. And one of the reasons I want to quilt it ahead of time is, number one, I won't have to try to sew through the paint, which is probably not a big deal, but I don't want to take a chance. But the other thing is because the stitching helps contain your paints. To keep your paint from bleeding through, make sure you use a paintbrush that's not chewed up. So relatively new. They don't have to be all that expensive. If you can afford it, great. But if not, just use what you've got around. And don't paint too close to the edge. Start in. Don't go all the way to the edge to start. Start a little bit in. That way, if you notice it's starting to seep, you can control it to a certain extent. So I will give you all of these hints and tricks this Thursday night on Art Quilt Thursdays. And I'm very excited to be back with that. And this is going to be for fun. We'll go back to our landscape and different art quilt techniques after this. But watching Miss Lisa Cape and Paint the last couple weeks has been mesmerizing. And I think it'll be a nice, calm way to start off the new year. All right, so that is that. So that's going to be for Thursday. Then yesterday, or day before yesterday, I got something in the mail. This was one of my Christmas gifts. And now I got to bend this back down. Silly me. Okay. Here we go. All right. Now, this came from Bonnie Langenfeld. Remember last spring, I took a class from Mancuso Quilt, virtual online class from Bonnie Langenfeld teaching thread painting techniques. I ordered, in fact, here is her website, landscapesinfabric.com. Landscapes, plural, infabric.com. Bonnie Langenfeld. And she was a wonderful teacher. And she offered a memory card of her class and for sale. And so I asked for it for Christmas. Look at this wonderful card that she makes. And I'm assuming she makes these. They are wonderful. And look at this little cloud that kind of turns. Look at that. Isn't that? I had to show you this. It was just so well done. I can see now why people like scrapbooking. And then here are printed on clear are stickers. And she put these wonderful sayings under each flap. And then, oh, thank you. Laura's here and Angela Adele is here. Look at these wonderful quotes under each little flap. I mean, how awesome is that? And then this is what you get when you buy it. And this, I couldn't figure out what to do with this. I said, well, that must be part you put in your computer. Well, look at this. You just swivel this out and plug this in your USB, or is it, I think it's a micro card. Look at that. Is that the coolest thing? And then this is so you don't lose it. And then when you're done downloading it onto your computer, you just put it back and put it back in the little folder so you don't lose it. And you put these nice flaps. I mean, this to me, that is classy. I absolutely love that. So I just wanted to show you what she sent. So wonderful, wonderful lady, Miss Bonnie. I've just started to watch it. It is wonderful. She makes learning how to do thread painting and landscape, fabric and collage, and mainly it's to learn how to do the thread painting. So I was so impressed. I had to show you. And I think the card was like $30. That's less than the price. I need to work on this camera. I keep saying that every week and then I forget. Okay, I think tomorrow's going to be camera adjustment time. Hold on. I'm going to fix this. It is not going to beat me. The problem is we're trying to cobble together parts to make an articulated arm so I can slide the camera back and forth. And it wasn't meant to do that. So when you're inventing, sometimes you got to take some problems with it. All right. And plus, I didn't want to spend a fortune. So it's not that expensive of a camera. And, we get a little bit here and a little bit there. And my son made me some videos so I can learn the OBS system, which would be nice. And so hopefully I'll spend time doing that. I wanted to tell you a little something because I showed this yesterday when I was doing the Jitsi, and I thought it might help you. And these are, oh, poo. Sonia or Jody, do you remember Kim? No, what is her name? The woman who does these. And you can find them at sewing stores, craft stores, Amazon. And these are circles that come in all different sizes, from tiny, 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 from little tiny all the way up. And they are heat resistant, so you can lightly iron over these. And so what those are for, let's say you cut out a tiny little circle to make a berry for something that you're going to do applique with. And so you would take one of those little circles, those little hard circles. First, you take this fabric. You do a basting stitch near the edge. You're at nice big basting stitches. Thank you, Karen K. Buckley. Thank you, Melissa. And then you would take this, you would do a basting stitch around the edge, leaving long tails. Then you would put that little plastic piece, that rigidness, pull in the tails, see that makes it all drawstring-like, pull them in, and then you can press it. Then you can take the plastic back out and press it again, and then you'll have a perfect little berry. See how I'm drawing this up? You'll have a perfect little berry to then stitch down onto your applique. So I just wanted to show you. She also, and I love that they're on a ring because you won't lose them. And you can just turn them to the one you want. And then Jody has this thing now. I forgot what she called it, but it kind of magically gives you anywhere between 1 and 3 inch circles. It's like, I was so amazed with it, I forgot to write down the name of it. But she found it on Amazon. But Karen K. Buckley also makes larger circles too. And I love it that they're heat-resistant templates so that once you form the circle around it and you pull in the strings, you can press it with that nice crisp edge inside. Wonderful. So I just thought I would show you that. I use it for all my applique work. Then Miss Alex Anderson is having an applique hand stitching, I guess you call it block of the week or activity of the week. And she was using wonderful silk dupiones, but it's Christmas and I'm on a budget. And so I went to fabricwarehouse.com or fabrichosale.com, And I ordered polyester dupioni. And these are the colors I got because the colors, a lot of it had been sold, but it was $4.99 a yard. So I now get to participate. I love the idea of using a dupioni because it just has such interesting fabrics. And then we're going to do all kinds of hand stitching circles and things on it. And I'm looking forward to that. So I'll be joining in as soon as I get this piece together in some form. I'll be joining in on Alex Anderson's hand embroidery class that she's been given. I'm running late, but I had to order the fabric, so I'm a little behind. I'll have to play catch up. All right. I am supposed to go to Myrtle Beach Quilt Party in 2 weeks, but not knowing all COVID, this Omicron made its way into each one of my children's families. And I still don't want to get it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be going to the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party or not. I've got my fabric. I got my favorite class. Got my hotel reservation. It might be like all dressed up and no party to go to. So we will see. I will let you know. But I'm hoping, because anytime I can get out and take a class and learn, then I can bring it back to y'all. Now, one thing I do want to say, Mancuso is continuing, and some others might too, to also offer virtual classes. So some of you who are afraid to go out because of the virus, afraid, or like me, it costs a lot of money to go to a quilt show and stay in a hotel and take the classes. If I can do it from my own home, my bed, my own food, I don't have to travel, that's a plus. So please think of checking the major sites. I don't know if AQS is doing some virtual classes, but I know Mancuso is. Search them out and take advantage. Try to find a class that you would like. Because if enough of us keep doing this, they'll keep offering them. And what a wonderful way. I've taken several now virtual classes, and they are fantastic. So please keep that in mind. Also, check out these quilt venues for lectures. I got to be present at Kafe Facet's live lecture a couple months ago. It was wonderful. It was in September, I think. It was wonderful. And I'm trying to remember how much it was. Usually the lectures are about 15. This might have been a little more because it was worth so much. It had a slideshow. He was talking to us, asking us questions. We got to ask him questions. That's got that a little backwards there because he doesn't want to know anything I want to know, but I want to know what he knows. So anyway, but just please keep in mind, support your quote class vendor because it makes all the difference in your quilting world enjoyment. So, all right. Oh, another thing. There is a store called Jerry's Artorama, and I can't believe how expensive the ink tints pencils have gotten. I got mine about 5-6 years ago, and I thought they were expensive at $25, $28. They are now like $50 some. And I wanted a minimum of 24 pencils. And so, yes, they're expensive, but they'll last a long, long time. But I wanted to show you something that might help you out if you have bought just some of the smaller sets, or if, like me, some colors I use more than others, white being one. But I'm going to show you this ad for Jerry's Artorama, and then I'm going to go to your photos and see what you've been working on. So, okay, whoop, turn off my machine here. All right, now I got to mess with the camera again. All right, let's turn this around. Okay. Oh, okay, come on, camera. Don't be difficult for me here. All right. Oh, yay. Okay, it's being very well behaved. All right, so the ad I have for Jerry's Artorama, this is just one of the stores. He sent me an email, and I checked the prices because you can buy the big boxes, but the wonderful thing is he sells the individual pencils independently. And so there's a long list, and most of them are $2.21 a piece. Or if you use that color a tremendous amount, you can buy 6 in a box for $13. But this is really helpful if you have the basic art ink tints and want to either expand the colors you have, or if there are certain colors that you use a lot, like maybe a black. But you could come in here and just pick out which ones you want and pay for them independently. Because even in a box of 24, they don't have all of the colors you would like. But look at all of these colors. So this is Jerry's Artorama, and you can find them online. And there are other art stores out there, but this happened to come up, and I wanted to show you this. So let me go. But they have bunches and bunches of colors. And this is Jerry's Artorama. They're having a sale right now. Free shipping orders over 50. So anyway, there we go. Just thought I would show you that. Now, let's go to your photos. Okay. Let me go to there. All right. I've already shown you the Art Quilt Thursday information. And now, let's see. Okay. I still haven't figured out how to do a slideshow, but here is Miss Alberta Powell's work. Beautiful Christmas quilt. I just love seeing how you decorate, the items you make. Beautiful. Love it. I love that Merry Christmas banner. That's magnificent. Isn't that beautiful? All right. Thank you, Miss Alberta. All right. Who is next? B. I love it. She got all excited about me talking about my new machine, and she went out and found one. And here is her husband helping her figure out how to do lettering on her brand new machine. And she's just amazed at all the things it can do. And so she made some cards for Christmas. I love this. And you'll notice on the post box, she's from England. And isn't this cute? I love the little bird hiding out here. That is just so cute. And this one, and I guess she did her lettering on her new machine. How wonderful. So she's having fun learning her new best friend. So, okay, Miss Betty. Oh, I love this. one of her new drawings. Look at this beautiful, beautiful drawing. Isn't that gorgeous? Just beautiful. All right. Whoops. Somehow I shut everything out. Okay. Back up here. Now, we did Betty's. Okay. Carol. Okay. Here is her wonderful doll making. I just love this. I love this. I love that froggy. He's so cute. Santa. I want to know how she does those dolls. Look at that. I guess it's from The Hobbit. And I love all of her embellishing. It just gets me very excited now. Look at these wonderful dream catchers with leather leaves. Love it. And then her Christmas block of the week quilt. I got all the paper off mine finally, so I'm ready to put it on the machine. Look at this wonderful embellished work. And this is a scroll, one of her scroll diaries. Love it. Isn't that amazing? And then look at her carvings. She's one of these multi-purpose artists, Renaissance people. She can do so many different things. And then look at this tray of little felt babies, embellished ornaments, tamari ball, all kinds of wonderful things. And this is like a calendar, but it's a flat calendar. I love that. So thank you so much, Miss Carol. We all can pick out something we want to try. So thank you for inspiring us. And here is Charlene Lawson did this quilt of her son's wedding. How wonderful. They will treasure that. Then his cute table runner. Then here is her silk dupiones that she put in this design for her Alex Anderson's hand embroidery. Then she's just finished Alex Anderson's wonderful block of the week, or was it block of the month? Love it. Okay. And then when we did our art quilt, fancy background quilt, this is her beautiful interpretation. Just lovely. Way to go. Now, let me see. Let me see what I've got going here. Is there anything? Oh, got this on Christmas Day. And this is my Katie with one of her sheep. She is my animal husbandry daughter. She loves her sheep, and they love her too, obviously. Isn't that so cute? She took that on Christmas Day. And then I've got a couple pictures of the grandchildren. Russell likes Christmas. Donnie doesn't think so yet. Isn't that cute? And then my swirly tree I made for my one daughter. Y'all helped me choose the copper star. And my daughter's home, she said her favorite night of the year, Christmas Eve, when all the kids are asleep. Isn't that sweet? Okay. And this I thought was cute. Katie said this is her favorite childhood memory. Kisses all peeled and waiting for the peanut butter cookies to mash them into. I think that is so cute. And then little Russell playing with some toys. He was sick that day, so he was so sweet. Even sick, he was such a sweetheart. Then my Charlotte, I gave her, my granddaughter Charlie, I gave her beads and she made a necklace with them for Christmas. All right, I think here is my granddaughter Charlie getting her hair dyed blue. Pretty cool. Love it. Okay, so then Mark and I, we had such a beautiful week. The weather here was wonderful. So we went out by the river because if I get a chance, I want to be by the water. So this is the Yadkin River. And here are some wonderful pictures we took that day. And there are rocks all underneath. There are people who kayak and canoe. This was me. It was getting a little chilly once the sun went in. Here's another picture of the lake. Here are some of the boulders. This one has caught a bunch of tree limbs. But it was so peaceful. We were just sitting there, except for the one power lines. It was like we could picture how the settlers felt hundreds of years ago discovering this river. And then Mark and I, and then Mark. So we had the most fun. Then let me go back out one. Here, we were sitting there in these chairs, just us and the world for the most part. And all of a sudden, we hear a train whistle. And look what we saw on the other bank. There was a train that went right along the river. It was so exciting. We were like little kids. Mark filmed it, but we just didn't expect it. But you know, when you get to be our age, there's not much happens to surprise you. And this was a joy. No caboose. No caboose. Anyway, I thought you might get a kick out of that. Oops. Okay. Now let's see who else we can do. Debbie Holt. Let's see. I want to start with her wonderful Christmas block of the week. Did she do an outstanding job or what? Beautiful. And then here's another Christmas quilt she made. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? The colors are stunning. She did a swirly Christmas tree. So if you did a swirly Christmas tree, please send me the photo of it. If you finish your Christmas block of the week, send me another photo. This I'm showing just in honor of our wonderful Diana that we're missing and her beautiful customer work. I think she said it was over 100 hours in this customer quilt. Beautiful. Okay. Let's see who's next. Dolores. And just to show you that whoops, I'm waiting for my camera to focus. There we go. She did some wonderful African safari quilts. And I'm hoping that she's going to have once she feels better, she broke her knee. So, whoops, nope, that wasn't that. Jody. Now, you know what? She did some things the other day. I should have made sure to get her pictures because she's always working, doing beautiful work. All right. And Kathy sent us, this is, and I'm trying to remember what she said, but this might have been, oh, what is her name? I can't remember the quilt designer right now, but she's a doll baby, and that was a wonderful Christmas quilt. Corey Yoder, that was the designer's name. And look, aren't these wonderful? Oh, this is her cork fabric purse. Love it. Now, I'm going to need some more pictures because I need to go through and call the ones we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks. So if you have a picture of your work, we would love to see it. Doesn't have to be something you just made right now. If you haven't shown it to us yet, we would love to see it. Okay, let's see. Lisa Capon. Oh, guess where I downloaded her plan. Miss Mary. She sent me a new one because I have seen all her blocks of her Christmas quilt. And let me show you these last couple. I love that. Then here is her Halloween art quilt. Okay. Oops. There's one more picture I want to show y'all, and it's not coming up. Here is a wonderful creche that her mother gave to her. It was passed down in the family, and I just think that's lovely. Very, very pretty. All right. Thank you, Miss Mary. And definitely, if you finish any of the quilts you've made from this show, we would love to see it. Miss Marcia's scarf or shawl that she crocheted, very pretty. And you know, we like all of your work. It doesn't have to be quilting. It can be anything enjoyable. This was sent by Melanie, and this is of the gardens near her house. And I'm trying to remember now what she called them, but they're in I think the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I love these because they use natural products to build these, like acorn shells, just beautiful stuff. So this was set up for Christmas with plantings, and it's just lovely. She's so lucky. Meyer's grocery store chain in Minnesota. Just beautiful. And they do this, they have a wonderful garden she goes to see. Then, isn't that a wonderful table runner? Then she went to see the train that was the inspiration in the movie The Polar Express. Love it. Look at that. What fun. My grandson would love that. And there's the quilt again that her husband made. They worked together, what fun is that? Melissa's ornaments and Christmas things that she has made. Okay. Let's check out her. Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful. And this ball that she made, it's got cross stitch and quilting, folded fabric. Oh, and you know what? There is her woolly tree. I love that. I love it. And then her Christmas decorations and a wonderful fall quilt. All right. Who is next? We had more in here than I remembered. Now, this is Miss Nadine's Christmas quilt, Christmas tree quilt. Look at this wonderful. She has such beautiful taste, and it just makes her house magical. Look at these vignettes. Aren't they beautiful? And then she's very talented with her card making. Isn't that beautiful? And then, luckily, I have pictures of her frost right around Christmas Day. And her country's so beautiful. Germany is absolutely beautiful. And look at her roses. She left them in the garden, and look how that they're snow-bitten. How beautiful. Little works of precious works of art. Isn't that pretty? So sometimes it's good to leave a little something in the garden for the snow to have something to rest on. It can be very, very pretty. She's got really good natural talent and instincts. Okay, this is beautiful cross-stitch work from Miss Patricia of Nova Scotia. She's now put this away for next year and moved on to other projects, but it's very intense work. Tiny little stitches. Thank you, Miss Patricia. Okay, Miss Polly. Oh, I love this. This is Miss Polly has really branched out and with her art quilt making. And she's using, for a stone wall, she's using burlap, she's using beading. I mean, I just love how she's willing to try. And you know what? That's the majority. And look at the lace around the sun to give it kind of a hazy look. I love it. Here was her exciting background art quilt that she made. But then I'm just going to let her work speak to you. Beautiful, beautiful job. Oh, is this? I don't think we saw this one. Look at that beadwork. So delicate and beautiful. All right, way to go, Miss Polly. Everybody's developing their own voices. From Susan Berg, wonderful collage quilts. And then she starts in with the thread painting, and it is gorgeous. Thank you so much. All right, I think we only have, was that it? That is it. Okay, very, very good. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us. And as you see, some things are your work and some things are just things you're enjoying. The great outdoors, whatever brings us joy, because that's what life is about. All right, here we go. The last thing, as we're going to say goodbye, I thought I would bring, I am hooked on making these snowflakes out of discarded toilet paper, rolls, I guess you just call them. And so I've kind of gotten, now anytime I see one in the trash can, I have to pull it out. It's like, but there's possibility in that. And we could make something really amazing. So, yep, I know I'm silly, but I just love making things. And these are so easy to make. And they're great for kids to make, especially if you use like a tacky glue. If you use hot glue, you're going to have to do them yourself. But here's one I'd already started to paint. And I thought I would pull some paints out and and just answer questions and talk to you while I start painting these. But these two are completely done. Now, I could even add more to them, but let me grab some paper scissors. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to just type in all caps if you would. But this is one I think I had started painting with a silver metallic paint. The easiest way to paint these would be if you bought a can of spray paint that a metallic spray paint would be the easiest. But I thought I would just show you a little bit how easy it is to make these. Let me grab something for my hand. You getting ready to go? Bye, Miss Melissa. It was great seeing. Oh, there's Carol's here too. Yay, it's so good seeing all of you. Now, I did this basic framework here. And then you can then come in with these. And these could go right in the middle here if you want. Or they could go from the top down, or you can even cut them in half. Some of these, I cut some pieces in half. For in the middle right there, I did just half pieces. But this is the easiest, and it's wonderful for children. They can very easily, without hurting themselves, make something very fun. So it's just like that. You get a really good glue, put that in there. Then let's say you wanted to cut some in half. And let's say with this one that you cut in half, I'm going to fold over like this and put glue on both sides. Come on. Okay. Put glue on both sides there. Then I could come stick it in here, and once the glue is pretty dry, then you just fan it out, and you have that. And you can just keep on expanding outward and outward. You could put another one here. You know, the sky's the limit. And so once you get these built and get everything filled in, then... Oh, let me work on this one. What I would end up doing, I think I'm going to make this one a metallic blue. Bye, Alberta, sweetie. Oh, no, Alberta's not leaving then. I'm sorry, when I see people saying hello and Happy New Year, I think somebody's leaving, but maybe they weren't ready to leave quite yet. So... I'm going to get a little, first I was going to work with that brush, but that will take me forever. So let me get in here with this brush that does both sides at the same time. I'm working on a silicone sheet because the nicest thing is it cleans up from just about any surface. It's non-stick. You can get them on Amazon. They are amazing and protects my surfaces from all my mess. Because I'm one of these people that crafts and then worries about making a mess later, usually when it's too late to clean it up. So, and what I would do, just make sure you get all the different sides, because this is just paper. And if you don't get it sealed totally, then it will fall apart due to humidity or getting wet, whatever, like that. So I would come in here and I would do both sides, because while, you know, that side's not really being done yet. But just pour out your paint and get in here and fill it in. As soon as I get a little bit more done, I will show you what you can do next. You can do things a couple different ways. And when I'm all done with the painting and the glittering, Then I can use some of my liquid sealer, acrylic sealer, and then give them a nice hard finish so that they won't, if they get wet, they won't fall apart. Because these things are made to pretty much break down pretty easily. So if you turn them into a little work of art, you are going to have to put some kind of protective finish on them. All right, so you're getting all this done. Let me pour a little bit more paint. I would do one side, let it dry, then do the other side. And because, okay, I've done this pretty good. Now what you're going to do is make sure you have plenty of paint on this. Nice fresh paint. Do this right when you're ready to do the glitter work, because if you do it too soon and then come in to do the glitter work, it won't stick. And then what you do now is take your glitter and put it on like that. And because the paint is wet, it will stick. And you know, I think I would do a spray adhesive, but look at this. Isn't that pretty? Look at how that glitter sticks on that. So when it's fully painted, won't that be lovely? And then when I'm all done with the center, I'm going to put a pretty metallic bead or pearl or sequins, something like that, right in the middle. And then I'll put a string on and I'll have it to hang up. So I just thought I would show you that last little bit. And it's quite easy to make it magical. It truly is. And it's just, besides a little paint and glitter, which, you know, I keep on hand, it is just toilet paper rolls, but you can do so much with them. You just take and cut them into slivers about that long. So let me just I want to use up the rest of the paint that I poured out. And okay, let me come along the top here. Make sure you cover everything, because you don't want to paint it at all once you put the glitter on. So have everything painted that you want before you put more glitter. The only thing you would want to do is seal it once you put the glitter on. Glitter's the last thing. And using one of these, this was an inexpensive silicone mat. It was like $9 or $10, and it's so easy to clean up. But okay, so then you take and rub the paint off of the brush on top, and then you do a little more glitter, and it sticks. Isn't that beautiful? I thought you might get a kick out of that. And it's hard to believe it is just toilet paper roll strips glued together. And the sky's the limit. Just keep on going and expanding. But I'm going to make sure before I see my kids next weekend that I have one made for all of them. All right. So there we are today. And I want to wish you all a very happy new year. And, you know, couldn't get any worse than 20 and 21. So we're going to cross our fingers for good things, because we deserve a good new year. So I'm going to keep working on my mystery quilt, and I'll show you that next weekend. And I'm still trying to figure out how to do the prairie points. So I'll be watching lots of YouTube videos. But then I'm going to be finishing up on this tree. I'm going to finish these ornaments. And then I'm going to work on my Alex Anderson quilt. And then I've got to work on my Art Thursday quilt. I'm going to have a busy week this week. Also, I'm going to be driving a couple hours to pick up my daughter's dogs from I-95. They're going to pick up their son from his boot camp, Marine boot camp. And she didn't have anyone to take care of the dogs. And I said, I'll be glad to. So if you're here Art Quilt Thursday, you'll get to see my grand puppies, and they're wonderful. So that would be a lot of fun to share that with you. All right, everybody. Y'all are the best. Thank you, Laura. You're such a joy. And Alberta Conti, too. This is great from Southern Maryland. Yay! So it was so great to spend. Let me move a little bit so you can see that quilt. And it was so nice to spend some time with you on January 2nd. And take good care of yourselves. Keep yourselves healthy. And I'll see you next week on Our Time to Quilt. Take good care of yourself. You only have one you. Take care. Bye-bye, ladies. See you next week. Bye-bye. Where'd my mouse go? Here's my mouse. Have a great week. Bye-bye, ladies. You're the best. You are the best. Oh, Charlene. Oh, Christine O'Brien. That's who that was. Thank you, sweetie. Bye-bye, hon.